At this point um, in our agenda, we go to a general public comment. This is the time period in which anyone that signed a card that the clerk will call up will have 3 minutes to speak. The town board is here to listen. We can't respond even if the information is not accurate or someone asks a question. This is a time for us to listen. This is your time. Whoever signed a card to speak on any topic that they want for 3 minutes, and we will listen with great respect. Ms. Clerk, if you could call the cards.
Bruce Sander, Anthony DeRosa, Earl Maxon, and Edward Solomon. Please state your name and where you're from into the microphone before you speak, and you each have 3 minutes to speak.
My name is Bruce Sander. I'm of the Stony Brook Concerned Homeowners Limited. I reside at 45 Malvern Lane in Stony Brook. I'm the current president of this not-for-profit organization. We're here tonight to read and share with you some of the comments that we have received while accumulating signatures for our upcoming petition to be presented at a later date. These homeowners will be speaking from the heart about what they've been going through with the college boarding houses in our area. Our membership is now climbing to well over 1,000 and will continue to grow as more homeowners realize what we are fighting for. We are fighting for the sanctity of the single-family neighborhoods that are the result of poor planning by Stony Brook University, for the students it brings in from out of state, out of the country, thus manufacturing the commuter student. Finally, the university is taking notice due to our persistence, and with the town's help, we can fix this problem that plagues all of us throughout the entire town of Brookhaven, that is illegal housing. To quote the Coalition of Landlords, the game of hide and seek is over, direct quote. There needs to be a category for this type of whole house rental that includes transient tenants that affect the stability of our single family neighborhoods. I have been a victim of many personal attacks from the Coalition of Landlords who have absolutely no clue of who I am or what I stand for, but I choose to publicly stand strong. As we have always done, we will not stoop to that type of assault, but we will take the high road and work within the laws to accomplish our goals. I thank you all here tonight on the board and in the audience to support our goal, and that is to restore the single-family neighborhoods back to their intended purpose, and that is for single families. Mr. Romaine, we thank you for your continued support and ask you to hold to a little promise about adding additional staffing to the law investigators who are overwhelmed and can't physically cover all of the complaints within this town. It's just so big. If one new investigator just handled the houses who don't have rental registration, and there are hundreds just in our area, I can imagine in the town, it would possibly pay their salary. What I would like to read before my minute is up, or my 3 minutes is up, is a couple of comments from some of the homeowners, and that's what's going to be done tonight. There's one that really stands out to me, and that says, I like the movie Animal House, but I do not want to live next door to one. This comes from our website, from our homeowners. And architects, zoning regulations are put in place to preserve communities. I've been visiting the family of neighborhoods in Stony Brook for over 25 years, and the disintegration of the community has become very evident by the influx of illegal student housing. These neighborhoods have a right to maintain their way of life and property values. That it can only happen from the moratorium being put in place. I thank you for all your support tonight, and going forward in the future, we will be back at a future date to speak again. Thank you.
Thank you. Tony?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Anthony DeRosa, and I'm a member of the Stony Brook Concerned Homeowners Group. I do want to read some of the comments that were posted on our website by the homeowners in the Setauket and Stony Brook area. But before I do so, I just want to mention that since March of this year, when we got together as a group, there's been tremendous progress in the area. As Paul and Dave mentioned earlier, there has been a change. We have seen, from the houses that are reported to us from our neighbors, we have seen at least 20 houses come off our list that used to be illegal boarding houses, are now rented to families or have been sold to families. And that's what we want to see to continue to happen. And I think with the town's support and the university's doing things also to help us, we're seeing this happen. Landlords are putting their houses up for sale because they can't make the profit that they intended to make before we had all gotten together. So we thank you all for your work, and we look to continue working with us closely to achieve our objective of reducing these homes, illegal homes. Just a couple of the ones I'll read. We purchased homes in a single-family neighborhood to enjoy the character and quality of life that a single-family neighborhood represents. We want to keep it that way. We want to protect our investments. We will do whatever it takes to prevent absentee landlords from disrupting our quality of life, destroying our neighborhood, reducing our property values, while they make a profit at our expense with no concern for their neighbors or for the community. Because I live in Stony Brook and have seen the effects of the boarding houses, the owners are absent. They put nothing into their properties. The students that rent them are living in a dangerous situation without fire sprinkler systems, locked doors, and cooking appliances in each room. Another one, we live across the street from a whole house rental that has been used as a fraternity house in the past. It is ridiculous that has been allowed in family communities. It must stop. We live in a residential community where we raise our children and live our lives. None of what we to have a neighbor with an absentee landlord, a paved over front lawn, grass unmowed, with garbage thrown in the backyards, cars parked all over the street where we are raising children. We bought our home because they were built in a residential neighborhood. Absentee landlords are ruining our neighborhoods and home values with their blatant disrespect for our communities. I suffer daily firsthand with a college boarding house next to me. My 5-year-old son cannot play due to excessive erratic driving and all the parked cars. The overgrown property has made its way onto ours. What was once the wonderful place we looked to start our family has now become only a roof over our head, but is no longer a home. I do not believe that the family should be forced to leave, but that is exactly what is happening. If something is not done, Stony Brook will no longer be a place to raise our children. I am a 1974 graduate of SNUI Stony Brook and do not want to see the lives of its friends and neighbors be affected by these housing issues. The university should ensure that student housing needs are met without impacting the lovely community that surrounds it. We have 3 student rental houses on our street. It is no longer the quiet residential street that we were seeking when we purchased our home. We now have to deal with the problems of increased noise, parking, and unintended garbage. Thank you.
Good evening, all. I'm Earl Maxon, Maymont Lane, Stony Brook. I'm not much of a public speaker, so please excuse any faux pas that I might make. My wife Sandra and I are currently living in her deceased parents' home. Dominic and Rosette are the original owners. They moved out of the Strathmore homes in 1967 from the Bronx to have a better life for his wife and his daughter. They moved there for single-family homes and a good school district. Since that time, everyone in the neighborhood, whenever they moved out there, they all moved on a shoestring, and this was the biggest investment that all of these families could ever make. And so they tried to take care of their homes and were proud of it. I know that my father-in-law, he commuted over 25 years, 5 days a week, in and out of Brooklyn, and he would spend his weekends tending to the lawn, the house, as did his wife. Back in those days, there were many covenants by Strathmore, including, no cars could be left overnight on the street. You could not hang laundry or put out garbage cans that were visible from the street. Everyone in the community conformed to these requirements because they had a beautiful community and they were improving on their investment. I know that my in-laws are probably rolling over in their graves whenever they look down and see what Stony Brook has become with all of the multiple dwellings and what have you. It's still not too late, I don't think, to go back and institute single-family homes where the homeowners take pride in their property and make it a wonderful community to live in. I cannot say any more. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Clerk, the rest.
Edward Solomon?